I continued to pass the time making idle conversation with Michiru as per my everyday routine. We got off the monorail near the beach and then walked down the seaside path to our final destination.
着きましたね。
Losing her sight had really sharpened her sense of intuition as she sensed the gate a few steps in front of us and stopped. You can let go of my hand anytime.
どうせですから、下駄箱まで。
Your class isn't the same way as mine though.
でしたら、いっそ学校などサボって、愛の逃避行というのも悪くありませんね。ちょうどそこに海がありますし。
We don't have a boat. I shook off her eager hand and pushed her on the back. Go on, get going.
はーい。
Michiru swung her parasol in front of her as she walked away reluctantly. What a handful. At first glance, you would think she's a mature, sensible young lady, but she was still a child at heart, complete with a child's sense of entitlement. I waited behind Michiru a little bit before walking through the gate myself. I didn't want to constantly have her sticking to me like glue. I suddenly ran into Mew. Yo, good morning.
レイ先輩、おはようございます。
Quite a coincidence running into you here, though maybe we've walked by each other without noticing it before.
いえ、今日は私が早く登校したので。
Mew spoke as timidly as ever. Compared to yesterday, it seemed like she had reverted to being constantly on guard with others overnight.
今日もいい天気ですね。降水確率 0% なんだそうです。
You don't have to force yourself to talk about something. It's fine.
ごめん。ありがとうございます。
She must have remembered me telling her not to apologize so much. After thanking me, she finally relaxed her shoulders and gave me a bashful smile. I didn't expect to run into you. Maybe we should wait until later to talk about you-know-who, alright?
はい。よろしくお願いします。みーちゃん。
Ah,
こ
Twin
ちらの
Tails!
方が昨日の先輩なの？
Who's this? Suddenly, another first-year student of short stature appeared next to Mew.
そうだよ、みさきちゃん。
Misaki.
この人がさっき話してたレイ先輩。
You told her about yesterday?
みさきちゃんは親友だから、他の人には本当に内緒ですけど。
That's how secrets stop being secret, you know?
ひゅ。
Mew's face drooped when I pointed that out, but regardless, I just gave a half-hearted smile to the other girl, Misaki.
はじめまして先輩。安藤美咲です。みーちゃんがお世話になったみたいでありがとうございます。
That's very polite. I'm not fond of calling people by last names, so would you mind if I just called you Misaki?
構いませんよ。
This girl seemed like the polar opposite of my sister, steadfast, mature, and with a lovable smile. I had a hunch her upbringing had affected that. Are you some kind of rich heiress or something?
あら、わかってしまいますか。
So she is an Ojo-sama? Misaki acknowledged it without hesitation.
この町だと圧倒的に沢渡りの方が有名ですけど、私の親も建築会社を経営してるんです。
Oh, come to think of it, I've seen trucks around town with Ando written on them in English letters before. Is that the one?
あれですね。
Oh, a large company heiress, huh? Guess you must be quite the rich girl.
すごいですよね。そんなことありませんよ。
That reminds me, wasn't Ando the subcontractor that the city tapped for that contract to build the monorail? Oh, crap. I didn't want people to know about my family, but I almost brought it up in conversation without thinking. Forget I said that.
ちょっと待って。あのモノレールって沢渡さんが町のためにってお金を出して作られたんですよね。
Yeah, I guess so. I tried to change the subject, but it didn't really work.
もしかしてレイ先輩の妹ってみちるちゃんって言いませんか？
Miu may be shy around others, but she didn't mince words when she felt the situation called for it. She is, but I will say that she's probably given you a pretty different impression of me.
やっぱりみちるちゃんがいつも言ってる兄様ってレイ先輩のことだったんですね。
Seems like you two get along pretty swimmingly.
サバタリ
Hearing Misaki's faint muttering of realization, Miu's eyes widened in amazement.
じゃあレイ先輩って正真正銘の王子様なんだ。すごい。
Nah, I wouldn't say I'm cool just because I'm from an affluent family. I initially thought it would be better to let the whole thing slide, but I ended up spilling the beans about me being Michiru's relative instead. I'm sure it would have gotten out sooner or later anyway, though. Just please don't think any differently of me because of that. Ever since I was a kid, it's caused me no end of trouble. I sighed dejectedly. People I thought were my friends would push me away, and even the teachers would treat me differently when they found out about my circumstances. Anyone would be bitter over that.
ああ、だから名字が苦手だって。
As if she'd figured out one of my weaknesses, Miu gave a slightly suspect-looking smile. Yeah, I may be a Savatari, but I'm still my own person.
はい、わかりました。レイ先輩。
Thank you. I was truly grateful for Miu's understanding, but Misaki hadn't said anything yet. That reaction was something I was more accustomed to. What's eating her anyway? If she had a sense of pride in her own family name, maybe she saw me as a rival or something. If the Savatari family didn't have the stature they did, Misaki probably would be a thoroughbred princess. Well, I'm out. See ya. There was nothing left to say, so it was probably wise to get the hell out of Dodge. Dodge? Good grief. Even if I'm used to it by now, it's still ungodly awkward when my family comes up in conversation. Well, I'm sure getting an earful of Shuji's acid tongue will set me at ease. I came into the classroom, put down my bag, and went over to talk to Shuji.
朝っぱらからなんだお前は。男の癒しになるとか気持ち悪いにも程があるぞ。
Nah, I was just hoping to hear a bit of your "fuck you, I do what I want" attitude.
もっとけなしてやろうか。
Like hell, you'd only get like 15 seconds into it before I'd have to slug you.
朝から変なものでも食べたんじゃねえのか。
Putting that aside, I heard you lend an umbrella to that girl you were talking to yesterday.
あ
For some reason, he looked puzzled. There still weren't very many people in the classroom, but I lowered my voice anyway to be safe. Hey, her name's Miu Suzuki, and she told me she fell for you when you let her borrow an umbrella one day.
あ、傘ってあの子だったか。
I feel there's something you're not telling me.
女子に傘を貸したのは覚えてるけど、その後何もなかったから顔を忘れてた。
So were you just trying to be a show-off, helping out a cute girl caught in the rain?
当たり前だ。ブースに傘なんか貸すか。
Seriously though, one of these days, that big mouth of yours is going to get you knifed in the back. To be honest, I mentally conceded that he had a point, but I would never dare say that to his face.
ということは、やっぱり昨日のあれはマジで告白だったのか。
Even if it was just lending her an umbrella, I guess that's love at first sight for you.
驚いた。
I know, right? Nonetheless, I couldn't help but grin. Must be nice, you're gonna have a girlfriend before me.
いや、それは。
Shuji hesitated as if he wasn't sure what to say next. It was surprising to see Shuji of all people act like that. What's eating you?
困ったな。
What, are you gonna turn down a cute girl's confession? Or do you actually have a girlfriend I don't know about?
うるさい。ちょっと考えさせろ。
Shuji furrowed his brow in thought, though I thought this wasn't anything to worry about. Then he spoke again.
ここからは俺とあの子の問題だし、さんずいは気にするな。昨日のことと今の話はありがとな。
Although he thanked me for helping, Shuji immediately left the classroom after that. He seemed to be giving me the cold shoulder. I was left dumbfounded in the classroom. Wait. I hadn't been prepared for this. Shuji would react positively. I'd tell Miu the news at lunch break, and then, bada bing, they live happily ever after. That was how things would go, or so I thought. Did I now have to declare Miu's crush as just an idea that wouldn't get on the runway? That it was more like an idea that blew up in the hangar? What the hell do I do now? I buried my face in my hands. It would be different if Shuji had a girlfriend, but that doesn't seem to be the case. He didn't even explain why he's not interested in her. I decided to get up and follow Shuji to see if I could coax any more info out of him, but... Whoops! In spite of my haste, as soon as a cute girl said hello to me, I had to stop and return the greeting. Good morning, Makoto. Makoto had a casual smirk on her face, like she was in a good mood. I thought she would just say hello and go about her business, but she was still standing in front of me. What's up?
あのね、大したものじゃないんだけど、これを渡そうと思って。
She handed me a small, wrapped box. Opening it, I found it contained a large eraser, along with some cutesy post-it notes whose designs were unabashedly girly in appearance.
昨日、お弁当を助けてくれたお礼。ありがとね。
It really wasn't a big deal though. This is awfully diligent of you.
そうなんだけど、義理人情は大事なことだし、受けた恩には報いないと。
Makoto never stood out to me before, but in a real conversation with her, I couldn't help but notice she was a bit more old-fashioned than most girls. Is it her manner of speaking? Huh?
どうしたの？
I don't know, I just have a feeling. Haven't I met you somewhere before?
口説き文句？
Who even says that as a pickup line anymore? I'm asking a serious question here.
同じクラスだったことあったっけ？
I don't think so. We probably didn't even go to the same school before coming here.
じゃあ、前世からの因縁のある仇かな？
Why does it have to be a mortal enemy? Maybe you could just call it fate. Well, anyway, thanks a lot for the gift.
どういたしまして。
Makoto gave me a dazzling smile as she turned to go back to her seat. Now, what was I doing again? Right, I was trying to go after Shuji. The hallway was packed with people, all of them hanging around and chatting. I wouldn't want anyone to overhear something like this, so it might be hard to grill Shuji anymore until after school. I scratched my cheek. For a guy with such a big mouth, he sure can be a mule sometimes. Shuji says whatever he feels like most of the time, but if he decides he doesn't want to talk about something, he really buttons his lip. Man, Shuji really is a good chap. Then it was time for lunch. I took my lunchbox up to the rooftop. Although I was excited to have lunch with a cute girl, I was nervous to tell her about Shuji. So on the whole, I suppose that balanced out my mood. Maybe I don't need to tell her today. I could just keep my mouth shut until I get a real answer out of Shuji. I went up the stairs and opened the door to the rooftop. She's not here yet. The rooftop was hot and humid as usual, but Miu wasn't around. She seemed like a very conscientious sort of girl, so I thought she would be here before me. Maybe she's going to come after she eats lunch. Might as well just wait it out. While loitering on the roof with nothing else to do, I became aware of some kind of commotion down below. What's this? I peered off the roof and saw a circle of people crowded around something. In the middle of that circle lay the body of a person. Without a word, I hurled my pocket watch into the ground. Don't tell me she fell again! My sudden shout after turning back time once again greatly surprised Makoto and the other students around me. I ignored them and ran out of the room. Miu and I must have just missed each other somehow, so maybe she's over here. Miu was over on the other side of the roof, wearing a carefree smile. Come here now.
Huh?
Just hurry. Though I told her to come here first, I ended up running to her instead. Please, just get away from the edge. Miu didn't seem like she was going to fall, but just to be safe, I grabbed her hand and pulled her away. Then, from the other direction, I heard a small thunk. Wondering what the noise was, I looked and saw that there was a strangely colored rock lying on the ground. A rock? How did that get here? Did this fall from somewhere? It's not like the wind could have carried the stone up here, and there isn't anything around here that's taller than this building. Huh? What? It wasn't a very big meteorite, but the odds of one falling in this exact spot right in front of us are astronomical. Wait a minute, if I hadn't pulled Miu away from the edge, it would have hit her. Hey, Miu.
Hi.
Are you genetically inclined to constantly get mixed up in unlucky situations? Miu's voice caught in her throat, as if she was well aware of it herself. So I see. For the record, I have really good luck. Well, I'd say people who run into trouble all the time are most likely to just end up being saved by people like that. So what? You normally do the opposite of that? I couldn't help but sigh. If it's that rare, then I'll give it to you. I handed the meteorite to Miu. It's not really worth anything to me. If it's a treasure to you, then you're the one that should have it. She wrapped the tiny rock in a handkerchief as if it were a priceless jewel before putting it in her pocket. Well, I used to think smooth, shiny stones were really cool when I was a kid too. Ever since the day of that botched confession when I first met her, I can't tell if my luck has become really good or really bad. If I hadn't met her, she would have died twice over, but on the other hand, you could also say that since she met me, she had now ended up in 2 situations where she barely avoided death. In any case, you seem to be talking more naturally than you were this morning. Does Michiru talk about me all the time at school too? Who the hell is this brother of hers? I guess you could say it's a blessing in disguise that your expectations were shattered like that. Since I was getting tired of standing around, I decided to sit down. Miu did the same as well. Nice view as always, I see. Jeez. Miu glanced around every which way, but my eyes were naturally drawn toward one specific spot. But never mind that. Have you come up with any ideas to overcome your social anxiety? I guess Miu in her recklessness would have thought of things to try on the spur of the moment beforehand herself. I haven't gotten the chance to yet. I need a little more time. I gave her a completely canned answer. But more importantly, I was thinking about something myself.
ただ雑談するよりルールを設けた方が効果があるかもって話ですね。
You took the words right out of my mouth. Man, you really are a genius.
その呼び方をするなら私もみんなの前でレイ先輩のことを沢渡様って言いますよ。
Please do not do that. Just hearing that made me cringe. Anyway, Mew,
はい。
go out with me. Mew jumped up in shock and let out a loud gasp.
そんな
I hadn't finished explaining, so calm down.
落ち着けって言われて落ち着けって言ってられない。
The world would be a lot easier if telling someone to calm down actually did calm them down. Maybe I went a little too far there. Mew was completely freaking out.
レイ先輩、思い出すべきは私には心に決めた人がいるというところから全ての話が始まっているわけでして。いえ、レイ先輩に魅力がないというわけではなく、そりゃレイ先輩のことも好きではないわけではないですが。
Oh?
しかし、だがしかし。
Sorry, I meant we should set a rule to act like we're actually going out when we talk.
そう。おー。
Freeze frame. Sit down. At my beckoning, Mew immediately flopped her butt down on the concrete.
ご説明を。
Are you mad at me?
判決待ちです。
You want to overcome your social anxiety in order to ask out Shuji, right? So you need to get used to talking to boys about love and romance.
それはまあそうですね。
Mew carefully pondered over what I said, making every effort not to misunderstand.
怖がったり慌てたりというのは結局一度も経験したことがないこと、すなわちどうなるかわからない状況に対しての心の反応です。お化け屋敷が明るくてここがびっくりポイントですって看板が立ってたら何も怖くありません。そもそも練習や勉強というもの自体、新規にしろ既存にしろ物事を繰り返し行うことで不測の事態となる出来事、すなわち未体験を潰していく作業であることに間違いはありません。男性になれるために恋人らしく振る舞うっていうのはすごく理にかなってるはずなんです。
Not only was this girl a genius, she was well spoken too. You don't have to overanalyze it like that.
自分に言い聞かせてるだけですから。
Even while she responded, I could tell she was still a little miffed about what I'd said earlier. Though that was only natural. I kinda think it's a bit much to ask of you myself, and besides, I wouldn't want you to force...
やっぱりやります。
You're agreeing that quickly? I expected you would have asked to sleep on it or something, to have time to think. Now it was my turn to be surprised. It's okay if you want to sleep on it, you know.
いえ、こういうのは思い立ったが吉日ですから。
That's the kind of thinking that made you screw up the first time. Are you gonna blow your second chance too? My head was spinning. Why was this girl so precautious, yet so goddamn bloody-minded?
そんなに心配しないでください。やらずに後悔するならやって後悔するから平気ですよ。
So basically, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. I was on the verge of burying my head in my hands again, but Mew was still staring quizzically at me.
先輩は後悔したくないんですか？
Well, duh, the last thing I want to do is have regrets. That was, after all, why I so frequently made use of the power within my pocket watch.
それはそうですね。だけど
But what?
後悔しないってことは何も自分で決めない、 選ばないってことじゃないですか。私はいつの日か後悔しなかったことを後悔したくはないんです。
Just like the day we first met, her straightforward resolve left me astonished. Miu really is the exact opposite of me. If it were asked which of us would have it easier living in the world as it is today, the answer would surely be me. Yet somehow, people like me are inevitably attracted to a person like Miu. Just as a sunflower cranes its neck toward the sun. Besides, sunflower seeds are really tasty too.
じゃあ恋人っぽくっていうのは明日からでいいですか？
Oh sure, that works. At that moment, my stomach let out a low, dull noise. Mulling over complicated things like this really works up an appetite. I looked in my bag for my lunchbox, but it wasn't there. Oh, I forgot my lunchbox.
家に置いてきちゃったんですか？
No, it's in the classroom. I forgot to bring it with me this time.
今回は？
It's nothing, don't worry about it.
そうだ、もしよかったら明日からレイ先輩のお弁当も作ってきましょうか？
A lunchbox?
協力してもらうお礼に。自分とお父さんの分と一緒なのでお金持ちの人の下には合わないかもしれないですけど。
Miu looked up at me, timidly waiting for my response. You know, wealth doesn't affect a person's taste. My family's maid usually makes my lunch.
まずお家にメイドさんがいるのが普通じゃないです。
Touché! But in any case, a handmade lunchbox from a girl, huh? It felt like a dream come true, but thinking about it more closely, I shook my head. Nah, I don't think you have to.
でも恋人っぽいかなーって。
It's probably going a little too far though. I wouldn't want you to ruin a good memory like that for yourself.
あ、
Miu's eyes widened and then she smiled.
ありがとうございます。
You're welcome.
それならクッキーか何か焼いてきます。お菓子を作るのも好きなんです。
I'd love that.
はい、楽しみにしていてください。
She flashed a smile that sparkled as brilliantly as the sun on a summer's day, and I couldn't help but smile back. That said, while I didn't pay much mind to it during our conversation, I wondered, does Miu like me the same way she likes Shuji? I knew it wouldn't be wise to get ahead of myself with wishful thinking, but things were shaping up to be quite interesting.